Hello, everyone, and welcome to Cellular Healing TV. I'm your host, Meredith Dykstra, and this is episode number 130. And today we have a very special guest. We are going to be diving into the world of algae. And we've talked a lot about this topic yet on Cellular Healing TV. We've talked a little bit about spirulina, chlorella, some of the benefits, but we're really going to take a deep dive in today because we have an algae expert here for you. And Dr. Pompa is really excited to welcome Catherine Arnston to the show. So before we jump in and get started, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about Catherine. So Energy Bits Incorporated was founded by Catherine Arnston. Catherine grew up in Canada before moving to Boston, where she's lived for the last 25 years. She holds an MBA from Western's Ivy School of Business and is a board-certified health counselor and Reiki master. Catherine started Energy Bits 7 years ago after her younger sister was diagnosed with breast cancer and was advised by her oncologist that an alkaline plant-based diet would help her heal. In the process of helping her sister, Catherine learned about the health benefits of a plant-based diet and felt it was critical that others learn about it too. She gave up her 25-year corporate career to return to school to study nutrition. After graduating, she discovered algae, the greenest, most alkaline food in the world. Algae is endorsed by NASA and the United Nations as the most nutritionally dense food in the world, 64% protein and only 1 calorie. The only trouble with algae is that it's virtually unknown outside of Asia. Catherine decided to devote her life to making algae easy to understand and easy to use. She founded Energy Bits to make that happen and loves introducing algae to everyone she meets. So thanks so much for joining Cellular Healing TV, Catherine. We're so excited to have you here.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
No, Catherine, we're really happy that you joined us, and I have to say at the top of the show, I love your product, right? And but I also have to say this. Everybody that's watched my show for years and years and read my stuff, I get emails all the time saying, "Why are you so critical about algae and spirulina, in particular chlorella?" And people think I don't like it. So we're going to clear the air a little bit today because I actually love algae. I love algae, right? This is a really cool topic, and I think it's an amazing story.
Are we having an algae intervention?
Yeah, we are.
I like that. That's what we can call it. Algae intervention.
Yeah, right, Meredith? But I think there's two reasons why I've been critical, and everyone always takes things and says, he just hates algae. No, I don't. I think it's an amazing thing, and I want you to talk about the benefits of algae and why we all love it and take it, and but in the world of detoxification, I have some concerns. And your product passed one of my concerns because, these algae, they pull in a lot of different toxins. So before we got on this show, I made you send me all the independent studies, what they did to test this product for toxic levels. And in my past, I have tested these products and they have been contaminated. And I'll say right now, this one was clean. I was very, very impressed. Even dug down into some other research on how it was grown. It is both of these products are clean. So that's one of the critiques that I have about algae. We'll get into the other one later on detox. But listen, tell us a little bit about how you got into this, a little bit more depth. There's a little noise here, huh? There's more. I don't know. Catherine, do you have earphones?
Do I?
Yeah, maybe earphone. There was like a little echo, right, Meredith? You heard that?
I can put some earphones on.
Yeah, see if that helps. So while
Is that better?
yeah, I don't hear it anymore.
Okay, terrific. So so as Meredith said, I was not ever planning. I never planned to get into algae. It sort of found me. I didn't find it. And it was, as she mentioned, as a result of helping my sister, and then I just kept learning more and more about the power of green nutrition, and I just kept going. So after graduating, and I taught nutrition for a year, gave free workshops to people trying to get them to eat more greens. I called it my greens revolution.
Yeah.
But I found out people didn't like greens and didn't want to clean them, didn't want to cook them. So I thought, well, I'm not moving the needle this way. So I thought I've got to find something that gives them all the green nutrition they need that doesn't taste green and doesn't take any work. So I just started trying different things, and I had recalled that I'd found the algae in these little tablets for my sister, so I thought, oh heck, why don't I check these things out? And then I hit the mother lode when I found out that they're the most nutrient-dense food in the world and the most alkaline, and I thought, okay, that's it. I don't have to look any further. I'm going to devote my time to algae. And the only trouble, as Meredith mentioned, was that nobody knew about it. And the reason why they don't know about it, even though it's been sold here for 50 years, is that the packaging has never explained what it does or any of the benefits or who it's for. So I spent the first 2 years going through the science and basically rewriting everything into sound bites that people could understand. And then I had to try to find a customer group that would want to get these benefits. And it took many, many years. Eventually, it turns out that the running community loved the product because it gave them energy and focus. And frankly, I didn't even know it gave you energy. I just liked algae because it had so much nutrition in it. And it had 40 vitamins and minerals and 64% protein, omega-3, all the iron that the RDA of iron is exceptional. Yeah. So anyway, that's how I got started, is helping my sister, and then we migrated into becoming a sports nutrition company because the athletes realized that it gave them energy and focus and didn't upset their stomachs like the other products do that they were taking that contain caffeine, chemicals, or sugar. But in general, what happens is the product, spirulina, gives you energy, which is why we call ours Energy Bits, and chlorella is an immune builder, and it helps you recover from anything, including athletics, so we called ours Recovery Bits. We're just trying to make the product as simple and understandable as possible. So that's probably the two easiest ways to explain what the product does.
Yeah, no, I actually love the way you market it because, I mean, it definitely, it does all that. And I think that, the nutrition value in this superfood is just absolutely amazing. It really is. And, when you can find a clean source like your product, I think it just brings so many benefits, to so many people. Okay, so why is algae so nutritious? I mean, in other words, why? I mean, there's a lot of different foods. Why algae? I mean, why does it hold all these nutrients?
Well, it comes straight from nature, so we don't do anything to it. We grow it in fresh water in water tanks, so it's not out just growing wild in the ocean somewhere.
Which, by the way, is why it's clean, right? So it's not pulling
exactly.
it.
Exactly. So I can't take the credit for what's in algae. That's Mother Nature at her best. But what it does offer is the highest concentration of iron. Iron is what carries oxygen in your blood, and so if you don't have sufficient iron, you will be fatigued. And this is why, in fact, a lot of young women are fatigued. A lot of athletes have what's called, runners in particular, they have what's called the foot strike, where for whatever reason, when they run on cement, it dissipates the iron in their blood, so a lot of them are actually anemic. So the iron prevents anemia. It's loaded with omega-3 and another essential fatty acid called GLA. Now, your brain is primarily fat, and so you need healthy fats to be able to think properly, and so the synapses connect properly, and so algae has all of that in it naturally. In fact, a lot of research is on algae for biofuel purposes because they're trying to extract the oil to use instead of traditional fossil fuels. So it just goes to show you how much fat is in the algae. It also has all the B vitamins. Now, right now I'm talking about spirulina. So B vitamins are what give you energy. They convert glucose into energy, and so spirulina has all of the every single B vitamin that you need, particularly the vitamin A, which is an antioxidant, and that, of course, helps fight the free radicals, so it helps with anti-aging. It's a nitrogen-based algae. What nitric oxide does is that it relaxes your smooth muscles, including and your blood vessels are smooth muscles. So effectively, what happens is it opens up your blood vessels so that all the other blood, the oxygen, and the nutrients can get to where they need to go, so that again you don't have as much fatigue. It helps in so many ways. The high concentration of protein is the highest in the world. The Germans won a Nobel Prize for it. And of course, protein is a great source for energy because it's slow to digest. So it enters your bloodstream at a very even pace, that and the fat. So you'd have no surges or crashes like you would if you had carbs or sugar. So it stabilizes your blood sugar, which also helps stabilize your parasympathetic system. So,
yeah, and
so
I want to
really
point out for
terrific.
athletes, that a lot of them take whey protein. Whey protein can actually raise up insulin because it's that quickly absorbed, right? And through gluconeogenesis, we see these actually glucose and insulin
Right.
spikes. Whereas this product, you're right. I mean, it's such an even protein, that goes in over time. And we know this. When you take in a lot of protein at once, your body can only do so much with it at one time. However, when you space
Right.
out your protein,
Exactly.
for recovery standpoint, muscle building, which again, if you're trying to lose weight, you're a female or a man, it's really important, not to take in too much protein at once, and it's really important to replace that protein for healing and repair. So it's that slow protein release is really important. I think it's one of the reasons why athletes love the product.
Right. Well, the other really great reason why they love it is because it doesn't upset their stomach like gels and bars do it. Because when you're an athlete, all of the enzymes that normally would be in your stomach to digest things are out busy doing other things like delivering oxygen to your limbs. And the cool thing about spirulina is that it has no cellulose wall on the exterior. So there is nothing for your body to have to break down in order for all those goodies, all that protein, all that GLA, all those B vitamins, nothing for the body to break down in order for it to be absorbed into your bloodstream. So it's virtually instantly absorbed. So it never hits your GI tract undigested. So it never causes any kind of digestive distress. So you get the steady energy without any kind of downside that you would get from all those other carb-based products. By the way, a lot of elite athletes are realizing that the carb loading is not the most efficient way to achieve top performance. And there's this new emphasis on ketogenic training, which is fat and protein-based. And to my knowledge, our spirulina and our products are the only ketogenic sports nutrition product out there. Everything else is pretty much carb based. So
yeah,
it
you're
supports
preaching,
that as well.
preaching to the choir on our show. We are fat adapted humans here. We are.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Nice.
yeah, that's
I'm
what
almost fat adapted.
we preach and teach.
Yeah.
Basis.
Nice. I like that. Preach and teach.
I'm a fat
Okay.
adapted athlete myself. Yesterday
Exactly.
I went on a 2-hour ride, and of course I don't have to eat. I can ride. I could have went on a 4-hour ride. It's like I have the energy because I burn my fat.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It really is.
And you don't get hungry.
No, I don't get hungry. It's remarkable. And people that I ride with do all the carb loading and wonder how the heck do you keep going? How do you how do you have all this energy? Well, it's the same in my life.
Yeah.
It's I can go all day without eating and go, oh, I have to eat, because we adapt ourselves.
Yeah, right.
This product's perfect for that. I mean, it really is. Plays into
exactly.
the cell energy you need.
Yeah, and I like because it's in this little tiny tablet form, and when people buy a bag online, we give them an empty tin so that they can fill it up. A tin holds about 75 tablets. We recommend 30 of these little tablets as a single serving. You can take far more, and our NHL players take 3 times that. You can always have it in a knapsack, a pocket, and we sell single servings now at retailers. So the bottom line is you never have to break down and eat some of that crappy carb stuff and upset your stomach and upset everything. You'll always have a healthy snack, because this is a snack. It's great for moms to put in their kids' lunches, and it has all the nutrients that anyone would need, not just athletes, but anyone. And on that note, I also am quite proud of the fact that I did a deep dive in the amino acid profile of spirulina and was stunned to discover that both the overall nutrient profile of spirulina and the amino acid profile in particular is virtually identical to mother's milk. So everyone in the world knows that mother's milk is the perfect food. Well, guess what? Spirulina is almost identical. So that explains why it's so good for people. I was always wondering, I need to know. So and I'll send you the articles that I did that that show this. It just goes through each amino acid, the percentage. So it's not just the aminos, but it's the percentage of the aminos, and it's almost per amino acid. It's almost identical. Like, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's the question I had asked earlier is, really why is this spirulina such the perfect food, right? I mean, how did it become that? And when you think about life, it's like it's so important that we start here, in waters, and we think about how that feeds fish and how fish feed, and we think about that whole process that goes up the ladder, if you will, of the hierarchy of the food chain. And it doesn't surprise me that it starts with algae, just knowing how our ecosystem works. But do you have any other thoughts there? I mean, why is this food so amazing, rich, and everything else we need?
Well, mother's milk and algae, spirulina algae, are the only two foods that you could live on forever. It's such a complex mix of not just vitamins, but also the minerals. And spirulina was the first plant life on Earth almost 3 billion years ago, and they have fossils to prove that. And it releases oxygen when it's growing, and so after millions and billions of years, there was enough oxygen on Earth so that other life form could occur, and that it then led to chlorella, which is the sort of next on the food chain. But yes, it is at the very, very bottom of the food chain, and even if you are eating organic vegetables, and even if you're doing your best to eat well, there's still contaminants out in the air and in the world that you encounter, and even all that organic stuff, it's not 100%. So I think algae is pretty much the last safe place that you can go to get dense nutrition. So I'm so proud to be introducing it to people.
No, I agree. I mean, listen, we test products all the time, and when you test food, you wouldn't believe it. Even organic food, what's in it from the environment, right? It's whether it's the water or the air, it's unavoidable. But this, because of how they grow it, it's amazing. And the nutrition value that's still there, that was one of my other concerns. Just because it's not grown the exact same way in nature, would it hold the same nutritious value? How do they do that? I mean, how do they get it to hold the same nutrition value is the stuff that's grown in nature, which arguably would be more toxic, but arguably may be more nutritious because it's in nature. How do they do that?
Well, you don't want, there's 15,000 strains of algae, and there's only 2 or 3 that are not poisonous.
Yeah.
And so spirulina and chlorella are the 2 that are not poisonous. So don't go to your swimming pool or local swamp and scoop up some algae, because you will get sick from that. Also, when algae is growing, it absorbs everything that's in the water around it. So that's why it has to be grown in the most clean environment, so that so there is no contaminants absorbed into it. But you were asking about the nutritional profile and why it is so great for you. There's nothing else that has the density of nutrition. We figure a bag of our algae equals about 40 grocery carts of the nutrition of fruits and vegetables. 40.
Wow.
So it's what I call efficient nutrition. Yes, on a nutritional basis. The other thing I wanted to share is that a lot of people are taking supplements. It's I think a $30 billion industry, which is ridiculous because almost all those companies put artificial ingredients in their supplements. There are a few, thank God, that do use plant-based and food-based nutrients, but there's very few of them. So there are so many vitamins and minerals in algae that when you take the algae every day, you do not need any other supplements. So again, it saves you money because you're not having to buy all those fish oil or a multi or calcium or magnesium. It's all in the algae. And more importantly, because algae is a food, and because it comes from nature, your body can recognize everything that's in it, and you absorb 99.9% of it. It's that bioavailable. Because most people don't realize that things like vitamin C, there's 282 pieces to vitamin C, of which ascorbic acid is one of them. So when you just have ascorbic acid in your vitamin, your body's going, hey, where are the cofactors and the factors? I don't know what to do with this stuff. It's all by itself. The way I describe it to my young interns, it's like, hey, you wouldn't go to work with just your shoes on, right? You have a top and you have a bottom, you have a full outfit. Well, when you isolate things from vitamins and just throw in ascorbic acid and you don't throw in the rest of it, it's like going to work with just your shoes on. It's the rest of it, like, it doesn't work.
Yeah. Hey,
so when you get your nutrients from food, it all works.
I agree. That is the best way, and unless we're pushing something in a specific direction, but this is perfect food. I'm critical always, and people watching the show know this, of the green foods. We've tested the green foods and the reds and all that stuff, and really, I find it's just, it's really not what it's cracked up to be. Whereas I think, I know this is the opposite. I mean, I think this is the real thing, right? I mean, but when we look at those powdered dehydrated vegetable things that people drink and spend a lot of money on, I don't believe they hold up. I don't believe they even compare to what this product is.
Well, I can't begin to tell you the thousands and thousands of testimonials we have from people where they tell us their children don't have ADHD anymore, their blood pressure was normalized after 3 or 4 days. We have 70-year-olds who are running races and beating 20-year-olds. We've got 80-year-olds who were on oxygen and could barely get up, and they're now dancing on tables. I mean, it never ends. And so this is what gets me up every morning. Is I know that every time someone's buying a bag of my algae, we are helping somebody be more of who they were, to get back to where they were. And so we have 50 Olympic and professional athletes who endorse us, and we don't pay them a penny because we're so tiny we don't have any money. And we had 4 of our athletes win medals at the Sochi Olympics, and we don't ask them to say great things about us, but they do. So and we keep winning awards wherever we go. In fact, I'm on my way to Salt Lake City next week to accept another award. So it's very rewarding to know that you've got something that is helping people in a way that is, nobody else seems to be able to educate them about. And we try to keep it really simple and playful. So we're not lecturing people. We're just sharing with them simple information about literally the simplest food in the world that offers the most nutrition in the world. So
I want my viewers and listeners to understand. I mean, look, if it's good for the athletes, it's unbelievable for you, right? I mean, so just don't think it's just a product for athletes. I think when we look at athletes, we realize they need superfood. It's all about recovery. It's all about feeding the cells the perfect food. And this is definitely one of those foods for sure. So before we're leaving the topic of spirulina, and that's spirulina, right? I mean, the most basic, bottom of the food chain, perfect food. This one's clean. That's why I love it. Loaded with nutrition, and but let's kind of switch gears now. The chlorella, which is the recovery bits, right? The spirulina we call the energy bits. You call the chlorella the recovery bits. What's the difference in these two algae, and what are some of the benefits that you would receive from chlorella versus recovery, or versus the
energy bits? So spirulina, that's a blue-green algae, and that's the one that was the first plant on Earth. No cellular wall, so it's absorbed into your body instantly, and gives you all the energy and focus. That's why students love it, moms love it, for the focus that they get. We even have doctors and surgeons who love it. Chlorella came later, probably billions of years after spirulina, and it is truly a plant. So it does have a cellulose wall on the outside of it. And while it also has 40 vitamins and minerals, they're in different proportions, and they do a different thing in your body. So chlorella will not give you energy, and it will not satisfy your hunger or give you focus. But what it does is it builds your immune system. The spirulina has the highest concentration of protein in the world, but chlorella has the highest concentration of chlorophyll. Now, chlorophyll is well known to be a blood giver, and I'll try to tell you an interesting fact, though I don't know if you know this, but the chemical composition of chlorophyll is absolutely identical to the chemical composition of hemoglobin, with the exception of one atom. And in your hemoglobin, that atom is iron, and in the plant, it is magnesium. And I tell people, well, if it wasn't for that one atom, we'd probably have green blood. But the importance of this is that when you take in foods that are high in chlorophyll, you are nurturing your blood. And your blood is your life is critical to your life. That's where all the nutrients flow. It's where the oxygen is. So chlorella, ours is called Recovery Bits, helps build your immune system, helps build your blood. It also has the highest concentration of RNA and DNA in the world. Up until now, they thought sardines had the highest, but it's actually chlorella. And RNA and DNA is important because your cells are constantly dying off, either through being attacked by antioxidants or just from aging. Yeah. And if you don't have healthy RNA and DNA, then when they grow back, they're damaged, and that leads to illness. So if you're constantly getting fresh RNA and DNA that help your cells grow back healthier, then it actually helps you stay healthy. And in Asia, it's known as the fountain of youth because it helps reduce aging properties, whether it's from a health basis or even your skin. Your skin doesn't get wrinkled as much. It's quite amazing stuff. Yeah. So the chlorella builds your immune system. It pulls out toxins, including lactic acid, which is why the athletes love it, because after exercise, the lactic acid buildup causes their muscles to be sore the next day. But this will pull out the lactic acid so they're not. But it also pulls out other toxins. There's toxins throughout the day. If you eat tuna, there's mercury in the tuna. And I tell people, I'm not a drinker, but if you drink alcohol, the chlorella detects it as a toxin and will pull it out of your bloodstream in an hour and a half. So you never have a hangover and you're stone sober in an hour and a half. It doesn't matter whether it's wine, beer, or...
And it is a detoxer, right? And this is where I've taken my stand, and there's been some confusion. I don't like when it's marketed as the metal thing, right? It's like that it's this true chelator or binder. It's not. However, it really does what you're saying. I mean, it does a great job of cleaning up, and I think it goes along great. So when we're taking people and we're putting them on true, programs to remove heavy metals or biotoxins, I think it works amazing, to help the body clean up. Back in the day when we had studied it, we looked at live algae compared to the dried algae, and there was a difference in how it could bind actually a heavy metal really tight in a different bind. But when we call something a true binder, it's a certain bind, that we're looking for. However, it's good that chlorella isn't that true binder because it wouldn't offer the nutrition status and wouldn't work the way it should. True binders, that's all they do, and they hold on and they move out of the body very quickly. Chlorella is more than that. I mean, you pointed that out. I mean, there's so many benefits to your immune system and your blood. Plus it does, some binding. So. I really am impressed, with the product. And again, this chlorella is grown the exact same way. I looked at the study because I was probably most critical of these chlorellas binding up environmental toxins and being unsafe, let alone shouldn't be used as a true binder. This one, I was amazing. First thing I looked at was lead, arsenic, mercury. And I couldn't believe it. Honestly, it was less than what's in most fruits and vegetables. That's the truth.
Wow.
Yay! Well, I decided when I started this company I was going to do everything that was the highest quality, even if it took me years longer. And so I'm very grateful for your support. And I just want people to feel safe with us. That's pretty much it. I will say, however, that there is a small number of people that sometimes when they take the chlorella, they'll have a detox. Like a healing crisis, because it does pull out toxins, and so the toxins will circulate through the body on their way out. And so it doesn't happen to everybody, but sometimes some people do get a little nausea, but it doesn't happen all the time and it doesn't last long. But I tell people it's much better to get those toxins out where they're damaging your cells and you don't even know about it until it's too late. Just put up with a little discomfort. It doesn't happen, like I say, all the time. But unlike the spirulina, because this has a hard cellular wall, spirulina gets into your bloodstream almost instantly. The chlorella does take an hour and a half to fully be absorbed because it has that really hard cellular wall. So it's a slower absorption.
You had said about binding certain toxins, and I wonder if there's been any studies done on glyphosate. Well, the reason I ask is because glyphosate's not that difficult to bind, but it's on every bit of food. Even organic food is now containing glyphosate. just because it's ubiquitous in our society. I think they said 60 to 70% of all rainfall they're finding glyphosate. So, it's even in our wine. I mean, so I wonder if by taking it when you ingest food, taking it with a meal, if it's binding any of the glyphosate. Did you find any studies on that?
I have not. I have not looked into that. And once we're a little bit bigger, I'll want to be testing just about everything because I'm very science-driven myself. So I'd like to have data to show people, and that's a really good suggestion. And we probably can't do it right now, but there's 75,000 chemicals that have been released into the our environment since World War II. And so our immune systems have not been, we're not built to sustain that kind of toxic load. And that's why there's so much illness right now. It's because there's drugs out there and they do tests, but they don't do tests on what may happen when those drugs interact with other drugs or other toxins in the air or whatever. So that's why there's so much illness, because of the load of toxins. And so if the chlorella can pull some of that out on a gradual basis, which it does, it will help people be healthier for much longer. And it's a lot easier than doing, a juice fast or something, because you just take some of these every day and you're done. That's it. Yeah. You don't have to give up anything else.
Yeah.
Suggest taking them on an empty stomach for best absorption, or when is a good time to take them?
Yeah, and how much? So give us some dosing, when, how, and even for athlete, after workout, etc.
Yep. Well, to feel any benefits on a regular basis from this, the dosage amount is 30 of the little tablets for each of the brands. So 30 spirulina tablets, 30 energy bits, and 30 recovery bits. That's just your base level. It's sort of your entry point. And when you're taking those every day, that's when you don't need any other vitamins or don't need fish oil. And there's no burping up of any flavor. You taste nothing. Now, we tell people to swallow them because most people don't like the flavor because they're very green, and spirulina is very chewy because of the protein and omega-3. But they're totally chewable. They're just, we call them bits because they're bits of food. So. And people go, whoa, why do I have to take so many? And then it's like, well, do you have a single nut when you're hungry? No, you have a handful. So just like that, you would take a handful of these, in addition to the 30 a day if you just to maintain your health. But if you were hungry and you wanted a snack, boom, take 30 of these, throw them down. If you wanted to experiment with chewing them, I love to chew them with nuts or slices of fruit. You can't ever overdose on these. I wouldn't get over 300 a day. But I tell people you can't overdose on kale or broccoli. This is just a type of vegetable. I'm using a little liberty here calling it a vegetable, but I want people to understand it's just like a plant. So if you take 30 of energy bits before a workout or in the morning to start your day, you'll have energy for hours. It's just steady energy. There's no lightning bolts from the sky. The best way to describe it is you just feel fresh. That's it. You won't even possibly notice it, but you'll just go, hey, I'm not tired. Or, I worked out and ran twice as long as I thought, and I wasn't even noticing it. Or if you're a weightlifter, I lifted twice as much, and you won't even notice it. It's a very quiet energy. So energy bits I recommend to people taking in the morning or the afternoon because you'll get that energy, or take them before a workout or a run. Take them anytime you're doing anything where you need energy. And then I generally suggest to people take recovery bits at night for two reasons. One is your body has two cycles. One is a building cycle and one is a cleansing detox cycle. And the cleansing detox cycle is at night.
Yeah.
So since your body's detoxing anyways, why not give it a little extra boost and take your recovery bits at night? You don't have to, but if you do, you're giving it a little extra help. Also, if you do like to drink a couple of glasses of wine every once in a while, if you're already in the habit of taking your recovery bits at night, then you'll take them and you won't have a hangover the next morning. But you can take either one of them any time of day. You can take them on empty stomachs. You can take them with food. There are no requirements really. Although I will say that two things. You need to take at least a full glass of water with them, whether you swallow them or whether you chew them, because the protein is very dense, and your body needs water to help process protein. So Some people, if they don't drink a full glass of water, they might have a little queasiness in their stomach. So the water helps prevent that. The other thing is, it's very strange about algae, but and I call it intelligent food because you have to be intelligent to take it, and it knows what to do in your body. So it behaves better in your body when there are other healthy foods either before it or after it. It's kind of crazy, but so if you have a healthier diet, you'll get better results from it, quite honestly. And the best way I can describe this is I recently read an article how there are the medical community is using algae now to deliver chemotherapy. And the reason, because usually when you take chemotherapy, you get chemotherapy and it kills everything in your system, your hair, it kills everything, including the cancer, hopefully. But what they found was if they inject algae with the chemotherapy and then give it to the patient, the algae can find the cancer and attaches to the cancer so that the chemotherapy is delivered only to the cancer cells. No other part of your body receives the chemotherapy. Crazy, isn't it? So there's something about this algae that I can hardly wait to learn more about it. So it's very, very intelligent, but generally, yes, you can take it in any time of day. We urge people, if you want the energy, to take the energy bits in the morning, and it's better to take the recovery bits after a workout because it will pull out the lactic acid.
And I'll tell you, you need the full glass of water for more reasons than you think. If you chew them, you need it to clear your teeth. Okay.
Right. Good point. Forgot to mention that.
I love chewing them. I do. I like chewing them. I like that delivery, especially the energy, bites with the spirulina. I love chewing them before I work out. But yeah, you better darn use that water to clear your teeth.
Yeah, check the mirror first.
Check the mirror, folks. Hey, how many that you keep mentioning the bags? Meredith, I don't think we got our shipment in yet that you could hold it up, but I mean, how many come in a bag, and what's the
I'll just grab one.
Because a lot of our people are going to want to buy them. And while you're doing that,
sure.
Meredith,
so
go ahead, you got it, okay.
I got it right here. So we sell them. This is what a bag looks like. We're actually in the process of redesigning the packaging. So there's 1,000 tablets in a bag. So if you took 30 a day, a bag will last a month. And a bag retails for $115, but I think you have a discount code you're offering your viewers that gives them 20% off, so it brings it down to $92. So a single serving works out to about $250 or $260 with the 30 tablets. So this is what you can buy online from our website with your discount code. And then we also sell single servings at retail, and maybe this is what might be helpful for you to sell, that are $4. And I should have thought to bring they're not out of reach right now, but there's 30 tablets in a single serving. So they're really handy to tuck in a lunchbox or your briefcase or throw in your car, so that you always have a single, like a little package to take with you. And as I say, they're $4. And when you buy, every time you buy a bag, we include a little empty tin with the bag. There's the tin. It's a proportion. So that you can put 75 of these into here so that you can fill this up every day and take it to work, so you always have snacks if you need them. So there's like 2.5 servings will fit into that.
Yeah.
I have about 75 a day of these, of energy bits and recovery bits. Obviously I don't have to pay for them, and I'm a super user, but I couldn't live without these things. I work 16-hour days building the company, and I only have 20-year-olds working for me, and they can't keep up with me, and I'm never sick. Yeah. I never miss a day of work, and I credit the algae. This one gives me energy, and the recovery bits keep me.
Let me. I'm going to turn it over to you, Meredith, with a couple final questions, but I want to make these last couple statements here, just because I know people are going to ask, right? I'm always trying to clear up the questions in the emails. Can I take this? Is it going to mess up my intermittent fast, which a lot of our folks intermittent fast? The answer is no. It won't. You won't get the glucose rise. If anything, it would lower glucose. So therefore, you can take this throughout the day, even if you're intermittent fasting. And I know our friend Ben Greenfield does. I know that I have, and so that's good news. And a lot of you intermittent fasting that want to even out your energy, it's actually in blood sugar, it's actually going to help. So the other question we're going to get, Meredith, is how does the Corella differ from Cytodetox or Bind? Well, completely different. I mean, Corella is an actual food. Cytodetox is a true binder. It binds, it grabs on, doesn't let go, goes out of the body, goes into the cell. That's what it's used for. Bind is a true binder, but it stays in the gut, doesn't leave the gut. It binds there so you don't reabsorb toxins. Corella is a true food. Does it clean up the waste, the toxins as we described? Yes, but it's not a true binder like the other two I mentioned. So that's how it differs. And yes, absolutely, this is a perfect food. These energy bites are the perfect food for those intermittent fasting. Those on ketosis, the cellular healing diet, perfect. So there you go, Meredith. I'm going to turn it back over to you because I know you always have great questions.
I always have questions, but thank you, Dr. Pompa, for clearing that up because that'll save me a little bit too.
I believe me, I think about that. I know what our viewers are thinking.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Yes.
It's also safe for children, and it's also safe for pets. Pets love it.
Oh,
it's an expensive treat for your pet. Their coats will shine, their eyes will be clear, their mouth will not be smelly. It's fantastic.
Awesome, and yeah, it's an amazing product. You were so kind to send me samples as well, and I think they're delicious to eat and to chew. So I was a big fan of eating them. But one thing I was thinking, people might be wondering. I know you said they're safe and wonderful for everyone, and especially athletes. But I just didn't know if you had any specific illnesses where you've noticed either the spirulina or the algae having a really positive impact.
We have had customers tell us.
There's an algae eater.
We've had an algae eater.
Yeah.
We've had, as I mentioned, we've had people who had cancer let us know it's gone in complete remission when they were taking the two of them. We've had people, it's fantastic to get your blood pressure back to normal. If you have ADHD issues, we've got people getting off their depression medication, their allergy medication. It's amazing because ultimately if you give your body the nutrients that it needs, it can heal itself. And unfortunately most of us are nutrient deprived, and there is nothing that carries as much nutrition as algae. So but I don't want anybody to do anything crazy. The person who wrote us about getting off their Zoloft, they just forgot to take it on their trip and all they had was energy bits. So that's all they took, and then they found out they didn't need it, so they continued the experiment when they got back, and 3 weeks later they just threw it away, and that was that. So
wow.
We're really happy to hear that.
We're not suggesting anyone come off any medication. We're not suggesting this heals anything. It's just when you give the body what it needs, the body can do amazing things. I mean, that's it. The body's the only thing that does the healing. We don't. Yes. No product does the healing. It's just the body, when the cells get perfect food, magic happens. We'll leave it at that.
Right.
Okay, all right, Mary.
I want to be very, we're not allowed to make any medical claims. We are not physicians, so we can't give that kind of health advice, but I'm just telling you some of the stories that we've been told to us.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Well, Catherine, thank you so much for joining Cellular Healing TV. And those of you who are listening and watching are probably wondering how to get this product. Well, what you do is you're going to go to energybits.com, to Catherine's website, and if you enter in our promo code, that's CHTV, short for Cellular Healing TV, enter in CHTV at checkout, and you'll get 20% off your purchase. So thank you, Catherine, so much for kindly extending that offer to our listeners.
All right.
Yes, and just so they understand, the spelling of the website is ENERGY, BITS, B for boy, I, T for Tom, S for Sam. So make it easy.
Yes.
Thank you so much. This has been great.
We'll have a lot of people, ingesting the perfect food. That's for sure. So thank you, Catherine. Thanks.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Pompa. Thank you so much, Catherine, for joining the show. It's been such a pleasure. I know I learned a lot, so hopefully all of you out there learned a lot too. And remember, go to Energy Bits, CHTV for the promo code if you want to try them yourself. And thanks for watching, and have a great weekend. We'll catch you next week.